The San Antonio Spurs are your 2014 NBA champions. So, the question I want to pose to my panel today is, we know of the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, Showtime Lakers. Does this win, you good? You all right over there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I'm sad. It's a sad day, man. It's a sad day, you know.
Do the San Antonio Spurs join the pantheon of those three great teams to be the fourth great NBA team of all time?
I think so, for sure, because when you look at the whole nucleus of Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, and what they've done, they played together for their whole careers together. And I just think that when it comes to the Spurs and it comes to Popovich, like, I honestly think, like, he is the best coach in the NBA. Yes, even better than Phil Jackson. Like, no. I think
Phil three-peated 3 times.
Right, but look at the players that he had. No one thought
Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
But no one thought a Tim Duncan would have been like a Shaq. No one looked at a Ginobili
He was
Parker,
nothing like a Shaq.
But I'm saying like a Kobe Bryant. Like Phil Jackson had the players compared.
So you're
to
saying
Popovich.
Kobe is better than Tim Duncan, and that was what made Greg Popovich so great? Thank you.
No,
I think Tim Duncan looks like a used Q-tip.
What? Are you just dissing his hair?
Pretty much, man.
Okay, back to the issue at hand. Are you putting the Spurs with the Celtics? With the Lakers, with the Bulls.
And you're talking to a guy who doesn't like the Spurs. You have to.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know what? You'd like to make a reiterate on the point you had earlier. They've had that system for a long time. They've been this good for a while. You know, they've won how many championships? What, 5 in the last?
5.
Well, Tony Parker's got what, 4?
You know,
Four
Tim
for
Duncan's
Parker
got 5. You know what? They're a great basketball team. I've never seen ball play like that. And
Best half court
you
basketball.
do
so
have to
long.
put Popovich. I wouldn't agree with him being better than Phil, but you do have to put him in that discussion.
Well, the reason why they
Jerry
slip,
Stone.
the
Yes,
reason why they
absolutely.
slip out of people's minds when you talk about those great teams is because they've never won it back to back. And they've done it over, staggered it over a period of what, since '99?
Which makes it even more consistent.
Yeah, so the only difference with the Spurs is that they did it in a different way. It wasn't like what we were talking about earlier with the Heat where they caught a window, caught it in a bottle. They've been consistent. So when you look at, when you talk about dynasties, you have to, they might even be better than some of the ones you mentioned.
It's one of the
just because of
longest
longevity. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
sustained excellence.
So talking about sustained excellence, the Spurs luck up. I mean, getting the #1 pick and getting the ability to draft Tim Duncan, well, you already had David Robinson, was a boon, okay? I get that. But Kawhi Leonard, I mean, the Toronto Raptors talking about the fact that
George Hill.
They were intrigued with getting him the year they drafted Valanciunas, but went the Valanciunas route. They made the right decision. But what's the ceiling on a kid like Kawhi Leonard, soft-spoken, very
Rexdale.
malleable, a local kid from Rexdale. But I mean, his game, his shot is working. Like, what's the ceiling, Darren? We'll start with you.
Well, I always look at a guy's ability to learn.
Yes.
And when you look at him coming into the league, he was a defense-first guy, athletic, but not the greatest offensive power, wasn't given a lot of leash on the offense. Here's a guy, well documented, went away and just worked on his offense. And whenever you have a young player that's willing to learn, willing to work on his own, sky's the limit. And that's why everybody's anointed him as the next best thing in San Antonio to take over that big 3. I can't argue with that.
So does anyone see him becoming the superstar of the next generation for the San Antonio Spurs?
Well, first of all, you always have to be working on your defense when you're from Rexdale. Do you live around there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got you, man.
I think he is definitely the future of that organization.
But can he be like a lead 1A? I'm not talking a 1B Chris Bosh.
I think he could. No, I think he could be.
Really? Kawhi Leonard?
You know why? Because he proved that. Look who he had to defend. Look what he did very well against LeBron, man. I was actually very impressed with not only how he just took over games at some points, without even thinking about it. Amongst the Tim Duncans and the Ginobilis
And I know what you're saying, Akil, in that can Kawhi do it with his personality? And maybe you got to add somebody to that. But here's a guy that won the Finals MVP and wasn't even an All-Star this year. So he's a low-key guy, and so I think you got to bring in some different type of personnel to surround him with. But at the end of the day, it's all about the game.
I'll say one thing, though, that probably helps him become the next level superstars. A lot of times you talk about superstars, you got to be a ball-dominant player, break players off the dribble and stuff. He won't have to do that in San Antonio.
He needs to be happier too, man. Like, go out. They need to take him out. Take him to, take him to Red Lobster, man. He's a smile up, man.
He's good.
He's more that now. He's going to get paid with that big contract.
I still doubt he'll be smiling. Anyone think the Spurs can repeat here?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
When you look at that, when they package it in the boat as the last run, I think definitely when they put all their eggs in the basket and a better Leonard, to show and to lead a little bit more, yeah.
The West Ham Spurs will repeat.
Might be the first time, and that'll be when that'll be when some people retire. You know, if he can do that, that's when you'll see some exits happening.
Duncan's 38, and he can still go. And when you look at Parker and you look at Wade, they're both the same age. They're 32, but Wade looks like he's, he looks like he's like Steve Nash, like about to retire. Whereas Tony Parker still has a lot to go. Same with Ginobili. So
And he did say that core unit is probably all going to come back next year. So if that happens,
you go Spurs. Listen, the future of the Miami Heat is now in. So, Trix, I'll start with you.
yeah, man.
What happens next for these Heat? Is it opt-out season?
Well, the Malton Heat need to. Well, first of all, I personally don't think LeBron's coming back, and I think he almost made it evident, and almost gave it away at the post, the press conference there, where he was like, you know what, I'm not thinking about that. Where he's gonna go, I don't know. I just hope he doesn't do the whole, well, let me grab some superstars and go to another team and win. Like
Melo and LeBron?
I hope not. I really hope not. What I want to see, I would love for him to go back to Cleveland and with that group and win a championship.
And Andrew Wiggins?
Like the MJ way, be a great player in a system amongst players.
And be the top dog.
Yeah, don't join forces again. I don't want him to do that.
It's too late for that. He's of that breed. He's going to join forces with somebody. If they're looking to upgrade that roster, it's not going to come through Allen. It's not going to, Battier is already gone.
It won't come through the draft.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he's got to team up. And when you look at the high powers, the Oklahoma, the Spurs, these guys have high-powered duos or even trios. LeBron, we saw what he did in the first quarter. But that was all he could do when you're on your own. You need that other guy. If it's Melo, so be it. But I think there's going to be a big exodus in Miami, but it's not going to be the big three. I think they come back, sort of like the Spurs did this year. I think they refocus and think that they can have another run at it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're praying to play San Antonio next year.
See, but no one's talking about Pat Riley. Remember Pat Riley, the guy who got them the championship in the first place. So I honestly think that LeBron is too much of a punk to leave.
Whoa.
Name calling.
Yeah, I'm calling names. I'm calling names.
Why you're a punk if you don't leave?
I think that.
Okay, listen.
Because the decision was too much for him.
We're not going to let you go out here punking off the MVP.
He didn't let you into a
Shouts out Kevin Durant.
He didn't get into Miami.
LeBron's still the MVP to me. Guys, listen, we'll be back, and Nadine will continue to insult NBA players when we return on Canada's home for Talking Hoops. This is The Hangout. Coming up, we got to talk about the draft prospects. Hangout.